This time, an overwhelming number of enemies came towards me, to the point I myself had to back up. They, they, were, they were too much for me at that time. The villagers, pillagers, vindicators, witches, zombies. But my friend saved me. The Iron Golem, the honorable warrior. After the battle of the village, it was time to leave. I set out with my dog to the vast plains, again on an adventure. I didn't know where it would lead me, but I would still move on. I came across many monsters through my journey. They were weak, very weak, from the ones I had faced before. Since the beginning of my adventure, they were nothing. I didn't even have to do anything. My newly found friend was taking care of all of them. I couldn't be more proud and happy that now I had a partner in this big journey of mine. And so we fought till the night ended. I embraced the morning sunlight and went into the forest. This was a particularly beautiful morning for me, as I would find myself dazzled by the sunlight. I don't know why, but watching the sunrise was so... it was beautiful. I still remember it, even now. I went into the forest and I was greeted by one of the forest giants there. And that started another battle. It wasn't hard for me, as my friend did most of the work for me. He was quite aggressive there, and we had no problem taking the giant down. After the battle, me and my dog continued with our journey. Some time passed, and then we came across a new structure, which looked like an abandoned cellar at that moment. Moving towards the unknown structure, I decided to keep my dog seated outside, as to pose no risk towards my friend, for I did not know what dangers awaited me in there. I came across this skeleton looking thing, which I took down with no difficulty, only to find there were quite the number of them inside. I had to resort to strategy to take care of them, but that took some time. I found out that there were contraptions inside, which I would call spawners. They were spawning. I safely maneuvered myself close to the spawner so I could destroy it. I took down legions of enemies on the way, far from distance of course. It would take great difficulty for me to take them down. The rest of the structure was the same. I defeated the enemies, destroyed the spawners, got away with some good loot. I came across this spell book which was run down, but nonetheless it was a spell book and would aid me sufficiently. I also came by some useful accessories which would give me some really useful spells. That's it. I finished exploring and parted ways with the structure. I reunited with my dog And then we went on our merry way. I went along the misted plains along with my spectral steed and my dog. I was basking in the beautiful environment while going through it. And while doing so, I checked out the 2 spells that I recently embedded in my spell book. The spells were definitely really interesting to look at and were really powerful. I understood one thing from this is that I had talent for eldritch magic, which was, I did not know what it was, but it seemed really powerful. The beam reshaped Ten itself, and the second spell that I had gotten was slashes, which was definitely interesting to look at. My spectral steed, helped me jump through terrains, climb mountains really easy, and with these 2 accompanying me, I felt really joyful and less lonely in this journey. Being honest, I cannot be anything other than honest. Anyways, this adventure is much more interesting than the battles that I had fought, or I would say most of the incidents that happened in the early life. Being alone and observing, saving people, all of this gives me a purpose, and now I have friends with me who accompany me on my journey. They also give me a purpose to protect them, and just being together makes me feel happiness in a way that I did not know could exist. They make me feel something in this heart of mine. In the end, I would like to end this scene with giving gratitude and love, and to honor the memories of the friend that I had, who gave his life in the purpose that he believed in, whether it benefited him or not. To the hero that I knew, the Iron Golem, the heroic Iron Golem. After a good night's sleep, I explored the rest of the island to find nothing, and it did not take me much time to decide that this was all that the island had to offer me, and so I moved on to the next part of my journey. I took a boat with me and set along the vast sea to look for more islands. Placing my foot into the island, into the new lands. When is it not a new land? Always exploring, always adventuring, that's me. I set out, only to find terrain similar to the last islands. I spent the whole day along with my companions, wandering through these lands. This island was a big one, and in the end we found a watchtower. In that watchtower, I came face to face with a soul that had not been put to rest, and so I put it to rest. After doing so, me and my companions spent the rest of the night outside the tower, around the campfire, grilling meat and having fun. We had some uninvited guests from time to time, but it was a really fun time. A fun time that is etched into my memory forever. Really close to the tower, I came across an arena. I did not know what it was for and what kind of monsters, mobs, creatures it held. So I waited for the moon to come down and for the sun to come up. It was beautiful. I cannot appreciate love, this adventure enough. Every moment seems so important that it would all crumble down if one of these moments did not happen. And it made me what I am today, reciting this story. After coming down to the arena, I was exploring the place, defeating the remaining mobs that had been present there, and I knew something big was hiding here, but I did not know how to call upon it. I explored for some time, and then I broke a statue that unleashed something which would have been the toughest battle that I had faced yet. By breaking the statue, I had spawned Kamat. This was not a battle, this was a dance of destruction. Each swing of a sword destroyed surroundings. Each of my magic spells destroyed surroundings. We danced through the battlefield. Danced and danced and danced, and until one of us remained. This was the closest battle I had until that day, and I said, "Stand proud, Kamat. You are strong." After the battle, I received a lot of things. It was Kamat's soul, his sword, and many other things. It was an upgrade from my diamond glaive, and I kept the sword to honor him too. I did not bother to look towards the other loot. I decided to leave this place, but before I did, I looked back at it, the sacred battlefield, the destruction that occurred here. I paid my respects to both the place and to Kamat. This had been the greatest battle that I had taken part in yet. I went back to take back my companions, whom I had seated away from the battle. I waited till it was morning so I could get away from that place. And while doing so, I was stopped by an unknown enemy. I was a little bit injured from the previous fight, but still it was enough to defeat the enemy and its summon. After the sudden interruption, I move on with my journey. I go throughout the island. And then I stop near the sea, where I'm greeted by 5 sea dragons. I don't know, they're not supposed to be in such large numbers. But it was not very hard for me to take care of them. If it had been the previous me, I would have just let the same. Now I'm stronger now. It took some time, but I defeated all of them. After the battle, I was collecting the scales so that I could craft my armor again if it broke. It was a lot of help that they were there at the moment. I was ambushed by the sea creatures, the drowned, after the battle. They caught me off guard, but I still managed to best them. I knew that I needed to get away from here as soon as possible. This was not the best place for me and my summons. And that I did. I took the risk of going into the water in the dark of the night, and thankfully I came across the tavern. And this is where this part of the adventure ends.